So I am going to cover an interesting one today because, like, typically we kind of stay away from. I think we stay away from these kinds of domains. Typically, don't come up very often, like in this kind of space, in the gambling space. And when they do, usually they're not great quality, or they've been used as some part of some kind of spam or network. And I think this is the first one that we've actually found that actually looks decent. It passes all of our tests, all of our metrics, and it's in the space. So we thought, why not? Let's pick it up and let's have a go. So it's in the broadly, it's in the like gambling space, casino space, but more deeper down or niche down, it's in the slot space, and there's tons of money to be made in this space. It is a competitive space, as we'll see in a little bit, but the rewards and the payouts can be huge. I'm sure you're all aware that gambling space is massive in terms of affiliate payouts, and you get this kind of lifetime reoccurring commission from certain affiliate programs, or most of the affiliate programs. That's how they work. You sign someone up to an online casino or gambling site, and you get this lifetime ongoing commission. So I've seen stories of people making lots and lots of money a long time after they've stopped promoting some of these programs because of that kind of ongoing lifetime commission. So it is a lot of work up front, and it is a competitive space to play in. But once you're in that space, and once the site is established, and you don't even need a ton of traffic, like this isn't the site where you're going to try and generate hundreds of thousands of page views and monetize it with display ads. You literally need a couple of thousand page views per month to make this quite a profitable website and quite a profitable space to be in. So this website is 13 years old. It's got a DR of 15. It's got backlinks from WikiHow, WebWiki, Silverado Casino, CasinoFavorites.com, Top 10 Casino Websites.net. So it's got some fairly decent DR backlinks from kind of niche relevant websites. And we found two competitors. One of them is that focus specifically on slots and come at it from a different angle rather than kind of free spins. Lots of the websites out there, competitors, come at this from here's free spins, play the slot games live on a website for free, and then try and get you to sign up. These two that we're going to look at today come at it from a different angle, or more of how to win at slots in physical locations, for example, and a slightly different angle rather than the more competitive play free slots online, which is quite competitive. So without further ado, let me share my screen and show you this domain. Cool. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit on my browser because I don't know if people can see properly when it's zoomed out fully on Ahrefs, but this should be better now that it's zoomed in a little bit. So this is the domain, DR18, 86 referring domains, and you can see that I used to get traffic, not a ton of traffic, but the website's been around for 15 years, and Ahrefs only goes back to kind of end of 2015. It doesn't go back any further than that, really, but we can see it had some traffic, which is good. But the website wasn't updated. You'll see when we have looking way back, the design pretty much stayed the same, and there was just base of content. There wasn't even a ton of content on there, and that was never really updated. So there wasn't much to work with, but Google liked the site enough to give it some traffic and some prominence in this quite competitive space. So this is what the website looks like. Like I said, it did look kind of basic. This was in 2011, and it had mainly informational types of articles. So how to play slot machines, the different types of slot machines. So you've got classic slots, bonus slots machine, fruit machines, etc. Went into the different parts, so how reels work and pay tables and loyalty cash slots, etc. What the different symbols mean. Having been to Vegas for my honeymoon, I was very, very confused about what the symbols mean. And in all honesty, I was just putting money into some of these slots, and I didn't even know if I was winning until it either said I'd won nothing, or it was lighting up saying I'd won, because I honestly didn't really know what they meant. Slot machine features, so free spins, bonus games, and it basically tells you again what some of the sub games were, so what some of the bonus games were, etc. And then it's got a little bit about history of slot machines, payout rates, and strategies and tips, etc. So this is the website, a fairly basic website, mostly covering informational-based content. And This is in 2012 and 13 and 15 and 17. They did add this little bit here, which was, I think, their attempt to monetize it. So like a little offer that came out on the left-hand side, and you could basically click and get sent to one of these partners. And the design changed a little bit, but you can see it's still the same stuff. How to play slot machines, insides of a slot machine, reels, pay tables, different types, etc. And this is it in 2021, and this is it in 2022. And this is kind of where it went offline then. So it basically stayed the same during all that time. For 15 years, the design had been changed once, I think. The content had stayed the same pretty much throughout. When we have a look at the anchor text, we can see that this no text one here, it's an interesting one. You see this usually on kind of like scraper type websites. You know, those annoying sites which there's endless discussion on Facebook groups about should you disavow them or should you leave them. We just think leave them because Google knows they're kind of scraper type websites, but they almost always link with this no text anchor text. So kind of ignore that. If you see that on your own site, it's a sign that you've attracted some kind of scraper websites. Happens in pretty much every niche, and you can pretty much ignore that. And then you've got Slot Machine Basics, slotmachinebasics.com, teach me how to play the slots. It's nice and branded at the top, and then kind of what you would expect a little bit further down here then. Nothing really out of line here. And like I said, we spent ages looking at doing our due diligence on this because it's almost, we've never seen it in 2.5 years, finding a domain in this space that actually hasn't been spammed or used within some kind of network. So we spent ages kind of doing our due diligence on this, and there's nothing in here, and we've gone right the way through, that you would expect to see that's not normal, that you wouldn't expect to see, basically. And then if we look at the referring domains, again, this is kind of what I showed up on the first page, but we've got things from SourceForge and WebWiki, and there's this silveroarcasino.com and casinofavorite.com and top 10 casino websites.net, casinoelgen.com. So there's some, a couple or handful of niche relevant backlinks there. I definitely think in this space that if you were to go into this space, you would have to invest in a link building campaign, probably ongoing links if you wanted to be successful in this space. But this is a good start and a good foundation. You're not starting from zero. You're not starting with a fresh domain. I think it would be exponentially more difficult to get into this space if you were starting with a fresh domain. And then we look at the best pages by incoming links, and lots of them go to the homepage. And then there's a couple of pages on here that we would definitely want to recreate, not just because they've got links pointing to them, but I think they're useful and helpful pages. So part about insides of certain types of slot machines. Then we've got payout rates. This is a big one. Then we've got slot machine types, so multi-line, progressive, and we probably want to recreate all of the different types. You see also on here that they've got classic, bonus, fruit machines, loyalty slot machines, progressive. Probably want to recreate all of those, to be honest, to kind of make sure that we cover. If we're going to do types of slot machines, we might as well do them all. And then same for the symbols. We've got, this one talks about scatters and things like that. We want to recreate lots of this content. And when we look back at the page, the website back in 2016, almost as far back as we can go, you can see it only really had 32 pages anyway. So we probably want to recreate lots of these. They don't have to be very long pieces of content, but we'd want to recreate lots of this because I think it's helpful and would be useful for the new website. And this is what the website used to rank for in 2016, 2,500 keywords, and it was ranking for things. It was ranking position number 1 for slot machine payouts, 400 search volume per month. And like I say, you don't need a ton of traffic in this space because the programs and the affiliate offers are so lucrative. You don't need tons and tons of traffic. You don't need 100,000. You don't need 50,000 page views. You just need a couple of thousand page views to make this quite lucrative for you. You still rank for types of gambling machines, casino payouts by state. That'll be awesome because you could do each state where gambling is, where you can play in casinos, the types, history. So it's a nice mixture of old keywords that were relevant. And like I say, we went through this pretty much all the pages to make sure that there was nothing bad in here, and it's all what you would expect to see from a healthy domain. So what would we do with this? There's kind of two avenues to go down. The first one is kind of like I mentioned at the start, this free slots kind of area. And it's basically where they'll try and get you to come on their website to play free slots. And usually it's like a demo of a popular slot game, and you get to play a certain amount of it, and they're for free on the website. It's almost embedded on the website. And then from there, they then encourage you to sign up and play it at the real casino, play the real game, play the full game. But in all honesty, that space is really crowded. It's really competitive. And also it looks like, I'm assuming there's some kind of API or some kind of technology tool that you need to pull in those free slot games to embed them on your website, because lots of them have, I think I saw one of them had like 4,000 different free slots you could play on the website. There's no way they've gone and added those 4,000 manually. There's some kind of feed that they're pulling in from there. And I imagine they have a relationship with some kind of data provider or with some of these casinos or with some of these slot providers to pull that in. So that space could be something to explore in the future. But the other angle to go down is more of these two that we're going to look at now. So one is Professor Slots. The first thing I noticed about this is that it's not secure. It doesn't have a HTTPS, which is crazy for a website in 2022. And that initially gives you an idea, kind of, I think, like an idea that if they're not using HTTPS, how good are they at SEO in general, or are they just interested in the space more than anything? And I get that. I think that's the case here because they do consulting. It's for them. I think this is more of a passion rather than an SEO project. So I think there's space here to come in and have a look at what these guys are doing and kind of learn from them and do a better job. So if we look at these guys, they are DR34, so they are stronger than our website. And like I said at the start, if you're going to come into the space, you're going to have to invest in link building. They've been around for some time, but really they only started growing in kind of mid 2020. So really that's kind of like 2 years worth of growth there. And according to Ahrefs, they get around 14,000 visitors per month, which is about, probably in reality, about 30,000 page views per month or 30,000 actual visitors per month in real terms. And they've got 255 pages. So not a ton of content, not a massive amount of content, not a massive amount of traffic, but like I say, you don't need a ton of traffic in this space. And if we have a look at some of their content, we can see what kind of content they're doing. And they're doing how to choose a slot machine. And it talks to you about kind of how you pick them and how you read kind of what the combinations are and things like that, and how to avoid like some of the worst slot machines, etc. This one talks about how to win more often during your Las Vegas visit. Lots of people are searching for this, how to win when you go to Las Vegas. And this just kind of talks kind of like about, Nevada payout return limits, knowing your Nevada gaming stats, and check the most recent payout return stats. And all this stuff is available. Like you can go and look for stats. The stats are reported each year. So this is not like their own proprietary data that they've found. You can go and look up the same stats yourself. And if we notice here, they've also got these bar symbols, and our old website, if you notice, had a page on the different types of symbols. And so I think this fits nicely in with the content that used to be on the website. These guys are doing something similar, obviously getting some decent results. They also talk about location-based content, which obviously we're a fan of. And this talks about slot machine gaming in Tennessee and Kentucky and Florida, Illinois, Georgia, South Carolina. So that kind of content is, we love geographical based content. It's what we love to create. So, and if we have a look at them, they cover different things in here, like legal states on gambling. Can you own slot machines privately? And all different types of rules and different things that you have to be aware of in each state. But as I mentioned before, these pieces of content, they're not even massively long. If we look at them, this one here is 600 words. Like it's not massive. There's not a ton to write on each of the different state laws. So even though they've got 255 pages, they haven't got 255 pages of content that's 5,000 words each. So I think this is a real opportunity to come in and have a look what these guys are doing. Like I said, they've got a higher DR, so you'd have to do some link building, but I think this is a good competitor for us to look at. And then we've got this one then, which is knowyourslots.com. And they do something very similar. It's not about the free slots. It's not about coming to play the free games, but it's more informational based content. And if we have a look at them, they're a DR31. So again, stronger than ours, but slightly weaker than this Professor slots. Interestingly, their growth kind of started happening roughly around the same time as Professor slots. They're a little bit further ahead. They're probably getting close to 50,000 people to the site per month. But they've got more content, quite a bit more content. They've got 1,000 pieces of content on here. But with 50,000 visits, they're probably making quite a bit of money on the conversion there to different affiliate programs. And their content, again, is all very much informational based. So how to find your favorite slots at a casino, how to check your casino offers from Royal Caribbean. I thought this one was really interesting. This is just like a tag page, like a category page. That's it. Like, that's all they've done. And they've created this this silo of content all about the game called Slot Queen. So Slot Queen, yeah, different, all about different different aspects of this one game. And they've, for somehow, I don't know how, they've managed to rank this tag page at position number 4 for Slot Queen, which gets 8,000 searches a month, which I think is crazy. And I think that's a good opportunity. If you were to look at creating a silo of content all around Slot Queen and then had all that feeding into an actual page rather than a tag page like this, an actual page of the overview of Slot Queen and how it's played and pairs and stuff, I think there's opportunity there to kind of come up into these top positions for a decent search volume, for a search that has good intent. If people are searching for that, they probably want to play it, and that's when you can then send them over to the casinos to play. Yeah, basically mostly informational based content here. Understanding the dancing drum slot machine, our slot machine bonuses predetermined, and yeah, a bit more content, but I think there's a good opportunity here. So how we'd approach this is probably we would look at both of these websites in together. We would do a tomb raiding strategy on these and pull out which pieces of content we think we would start with. We would also couple that with what pieces of content we would want to recreate and make sure there's no duplicates. And that's the starting point. And then we would probably always also recommend a link building campaign to kind of go along with it. So as the content's going live and being created and pushed, you're also starting to build that authority and that your domain rating within the space as well. And that's it. That is my coverage of this week's domain.
Oh, Chris says streamers gone funky.
Oh no,
that means.
That doesn't sound good.
More technical issues. Is funky good or funky bad? And we just.
I hope it was just at the start when I started sharing my screen.
It looks all right now.
Okay.
I just had a look on YouTube. It's fine. It seems fine. So.
Okay, cool. Good.
Cool. So,
what do you think about that space, Mark? Like gambling, casino, slots. We've never really been in there, but that looks like a decent opportunity.
It does, just because, like you say, the money that's available in the affiliate programs and stuff is just enormous.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've never gone down that route because it's challenging. Yeah, because it's challenging, but also if you start from scratch, it's you've got a long way to go. But yeah, like there's always opportunities even in the most challenging niches. So I think that one could be huge in terms of income at some point. I think it's one of those ones. It's like I got a low risk, high reward, I guess. Like give it a go, and if it comes off, it could be fantastic. So
yeah, for sure.
I like it. Cool.